Mint Street is dealing with a wild mix of emotions right now. Our victory celebration got cut short by a nasty string of injury reports, taking out some familiar faces for the entire year. It is a tough pill to swallow for Carolina. However, the front office might have found an absolute gem hidden in the later rounds of the draft. While veterans hit the shelf, a young defensive back just posted incredible grades during his debut. This kid showed elite tackling skills and zero fear. He is already looking like a huge draft steal. The Carolina Panthers roster construction often feels like a puzzle, but a clear piece just emerged from the secondary during our recent 33-30 victory over the Arizona Cardinals. General Manager Dan Morgan used the 151st overall pick in this year's draft on former Penn State safety Zakee Wheatley, and he finally got his chance to show the coaching staff what he is capable of under the lights. Playing 35 defensive snaps, Wheatley delivered a standout performance by leading our club with 8 total tackles and forcing 1 fumble. Pro Football Focus took notice, awarding him an impressive 88.0 grade, which ranked as the highest mark on the team. He was particularly effective against the run, earning an 84.7 score, while also showing composure in pass coverage. Here's what people are missing about this young man. He spent 4 years at Penn State racking up 9 total takeaways, demonstrating the exact kind of nose for the ball that was noticeably absent from our defensive backfield last season. Watching a 5th-round rookie earn the highest grade on the entire roster in his first meaningful action is exactly the type of spark this defense needs as we search for consistency. Fans are buzzing because it finally feels like we have a playmaker who can force turnovers and change the momentum of a game when the stakes are high. But now we have to wonder, with the regular season looming, does this outing earn him a permanent look with the starters? Or will the coaching staff keep him in a reserve role for now? The most surprising element of our recent defensive overhaul is just how quickly a 5th-round investment like Zakee Wheatley managed to secure a dominant grade in his first professional appearance. General Manager Dan Morgan clearly identified a glaring weakness in our backfield depth during the offseason, prompting the selection of the former Penn State safety at pick 151. Because our secondary struggled with consistency last year, the organization opted for a physical 6'3" defensive back, capable of playing both the run and pass with efficiency. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. We have spent years cycling through veteran options who simply failed to provide the impact plays necessary for a winning team. While players like Nick Scott logged heavy minutes, the production just wasn't there, leaving the coaching staff desperate for someone who possesses a genuine nose for the football. This rookie stands out because he registered an 87.4 mark specifically in tackling, which is the kind of reliable foundation our scheme has been lacking during tough stretches. If he sustains this level of production against the Chicago Bears come September, the decision makers will have little choice but to move him up the depth chart. Watching such a high efficiency rate across 18 running plays and 17 coverage snaps suggests he is ready to handle a larger workload sooner rather than later. We are looking at a potential turning point for this secondary, provided he continues demonstrating that same high-level discipline he showed against the Arizona Cardinals when the regular season intensity hits in just a few short weeks. That news recap sets the stage perfectly for what this means for our defense as the calendar turns towards September. The bottom line here is that the coaching staff now faces a difficult dilemma regarding how to deploy our secondary against incoming threats like the Chicago Bears. By securing that team-high mark of 88.0 from the evaluators at Pro Football Focus, this rookie has effectively forced himself into a conversation that few anticipated before the preseason began. We're talking about a 6'3" defensive back who physically matches up against the diverse sets of receivers we will face throughout the upcoming schedule. If this 5th-round selection maintains his ability to contribute immediately against both the run and the pass, we might finally solve the turnover drought that plagued us last season. Losing veteran consistency is never ideal, but watching a newcomer step in and immediately lead the team with 8 tackles and a forced fumble is exactly the kind of production we have been starving for in Carolina. This shift suggests our division standing could become much more competitive if the secondary stops giving up cheap yardage during critical 3rd down situations. Seeing such immediate chemistry on the field with players like Lathan Ransom provides a glimmer of hope that our late-round draft picks can actually stabilize the roster. While the injury report across the league is always a concern, having fresh, capable bodies in the defensive backfield is a massive relief for any fan base. We really needed this level of reliability, and honestly, seeing him perform that well against Arizona gives me real confidence about our defensive depth heading into October. Securing a player who contributes effectively in both run support and pass coverage provides a clear path for a defense that has struggled to generate stops in recent years. By standing out with a team-best tackling grade from Pro Football Focus, he proves that he possesses the raw athleticism necessary to compete at the professional level. Now here's the thing, while his stats against the Arizona Cardinals are encouraging, we have to remember that this is just one preseason outing. Relying on such a small sample size could be a dangerous trap for a coaching staff trying to stabilize a unit that needs reliable production every single Sunday. Experienced veterans like Nick Scott, who logged massive defensive snaps last year, bring a level of predictability that a rookie simply cannot guarantee until he proves it against starting caliber talent over an extended period. Analysts are already debating whether the organization should entrust these high-stakes defensive duties to a first-year player or stick with established, albeit limited, options. Some voices around the league suggest that mixing in defensive backs with different skill sets is the smarter play, perhaps alternating between the athleticism of this rookie and the veteran tenure of players like Nick Scott. Here is where I land on this. I appreciate the high-effort play, but I'm not ready to declare him a Week 1 starter just because he had one hot night. My honest take is that we need to see this exact same level of intensity against starters in the final preseason games before we start planning for him to anchor our secondary against the Chicago Bears. When you weigh that standout preseason performance against the broader trajectory of our organization, a clearer picture emerges regarding how Dan Morgan intends to rebuild the foundation of this defense. Focusing on the talent acquisition process, selecting a player like Zakee Wheatley in the 5th round signals a shift toward finding specific, high-motor contributors who can address the persistent turnover gaps that defined our recent seasons. This is where it gets real, because while we often look for splashy marquee signings to define an era, the true stability of a franchise is built on the backs of these young men who prove their worth during the grit of training camp. Honestly, seeing a rookie put up 8 tackles and force a fumble in his debut is the exact kind of spark we have been waiting for to finally put those defensive inconsistencies in the rearview mirror. You should feel encouraged by this development, as it suggests our scouting department has a sharp eye for identifying guys who truly possess a natural nose for the football, even when they are coming from the late rounds. Having this level of depth and production from a 24-year-old safety gives us legitimate reasons to believe that our secondary will be far more capable of changing game momentum this fall compared to previous years. We are finally moving in a direction where younger talent is pushing established names for a vital playing time. Given what we witnessed during that victory over Arizona, do you think Zakee Wheatley has done enough to earn a starting spot for the regular season opener? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Keep pounding.